Do you believe in reincarnation? Ah, that is a good question, right? And that was the topic of our previous video. I am Daisy, your hostess, and we have been going through the book titled Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmet Fox. Two great videos that we just finished covering. One was the life after death, and then recently reincarnation. A quick touch upon that before I go into the next section. And did you know that 27% of Americans believe in reincarnation? And you may say, well, what's the difference between life after death or reincarnation? And that is quite interesting in and of itself. I can only speak for myself since I've had a near-death experience, and I could say that this flesh, as we see it, is not something that goes with us, but the essence of who we are does. Now, there is another thing that I can say. Maybe some of you can. When you feel that there's an affinity that you have, maybe understanding languages, or you're easy at coming up with, certain trades that, you seem to take on really easy, maybe design or architecture or work with numbers, or you're feeling very comfortable in being the person of the gender that you are, whether it's a man or a woman, and maybe some things just come easy. And that's where I say, well, there are still some things that we have yet to discover, and I would not discount a reincarnation, but I could say that there is a continued life. Not the way we know it, but definitely there is something more. We're going to continue on in this video with the next section of this book titled Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmet Fox. I hope that you have enjoyed this, if you've been following along, and if you are new to my channel, oh my, welcome, welcome. Please do visit my book playlist and catch up on that playlist titled Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmet Fox. And you, my fellow subscribers, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. I have enjoyed your comments. Thank you so much for letting me know that you have stopped by to share with me. And to give you the heads up, this video will contain the last several essays that he wrote that made up this whole book, which will include Sowing and Reaping, What is Scientific Prayer, The Presence, The Word of Power, also Blessing and Cursing. That's going to be really interesting, right? The Golden Gate, Treatment for Divine Love, which we all need, right? God in Business, and the 15 points. So sit back and enjoy as I flip the page. Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmet Fox. This book is in the public domain. Essay titled Sowing and Reaping. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. There is no such thing as luck. Nothing ever happens by chance. Everything, good or bad, that comes into your life is there as the result of unvarying, inescapable law. And the only operator of that law is none other than yourself. No one else has ever done you any harm of any kind, or even could do so, however much it may seem that he did. Consciously or unconsciously, you have yourself at some time or other produced every condition, desirable or undesirable, that you find in either your bodily health or your circumstances today. You and you alone ordered those goods, and now they are being delivered. And as long as you go on thinking wrongly about yourself and about life, the same sort of difficulties will continue to harass you. For every seed must inevitably bring forth after its own kind, and thought is the seed of destiny. Yet there is a simple way out of trouble. Learn how to think rightly instead of wrongly, and conditions at once begin to improve until sooner or later all ill health, poverty, and inharmony must disappear. Such is the law. Life need not be a battle. It can and should be a glorious mystical adventure, but living is a science. This is one way of stating the great law. Read and reread it at regular intervals, and it will inevitably change your outlook on life. End of section. We move on to the next section titled, What is Scientific Prayer? Scientific prayer, or spiritual treatment, is really the lifting of your consciousness above the level where you have met your problem. If only you can rise high enough in thought, the problem will then solve itself. That is really the only problem you have, to rise in consciousness. The more difficult, which means the more deeply rooted in your thought is the problem concerned, the higher you will have to rise. What is called a small trouble will yield to a slight rise in consciousness. What is called a serious difficulty will require a relatively higher rise. What is called a terrible danger or hopeless problem will require a considerable rise in consciousness to overcome it, but that is the only difference. Do not waste time trying to straighten out your own or other people's problems by manipulating thought. That gets you nowhere. But raise your consciousness, and the action of God will do the rest. Jesus healed sick people and reformed many sinners by raising his consciousness above the picture they presented. He controlled the winds and the waves in the same way. He raised the dead because he was able to get as high in consciousness as is necessary to do this. To raise your consciousness, you must positively withdraw your attention from the picture for the time being, the golden key, and then concentrate gently upon spiritual truth. You may do this by reading the Bible or any spiritual book that appeals to you, by going over any hymn or poem that helps you in this way, or by the use of one or more affirmations, just as you like. I know many people who have secured the necessary elevation of consciousness by browsing at random throughout the Bible. A man I know was saved in a terrible shipwreck by quietly reading the 91st Psalm. Another man healed himself of a supposedly hopeless disease by working on the one affirmation, God is love, until he was able to realize something of what that greatest of all statements must really mean. If you work with affirmations, be careful not to get tense, but there is no reason why you should not employ all these methods in turn, and also any others that you can think of. Sometimes a talk with a spiritual person gives you just the lift that you need. It matters not how you rise so long as you do rise. Quote, I bear you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. End quote. End of section. The next section here is titled The Presence. God is the only presence and the only power. God is fully present here with me now. God is the only real presence. All the rest is but shadow. God is perfect good, and God is the cause only of perfect good. God never sends sickness, trouble, accident, temptation, nor death itself. Nor does he authorize these things. We bring them upon ourselves by our own wrong thinking. God, good, can cause only good. The same fountain cannot send forth both sweet and bitter water. I am divine spirit. I am the child of God. In God I live and move and have my being, so I have no fear. I am surrounded by the peace of God, and all is well. I am not afraid of people. I am not afraid of things. I am not afraid of circumstances. I am not afraid of myself, for God is with me. The peace of God fills my soul, and I have no fear. I dwell in the presence of God, and no fear can touch me. I am not afraid of the past. I am not afraid of the present. I am not afraid for the future, for God is with me. The eternal God is my dwelling place, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Nothing can ever touch me but the direct action of God himself, and God is love. God is life. I understand that, and I express it. God is truth. I understand that, and I express it. God is divine love. I understand that, and I express it. I send out thoughts of love and peace and healing to the whole universe, to all trees and plants and growing things, to all beasts and birds and fishes, and to every man, woman, and child on earth, without any distinction. If anyone has ever injured me or done me any kind of harm, I fully and freely forgive him now, and the thing is done with forever. I loose him and let him go. I am free and he is free. If there is any burden of resentment in me, I cast it upon the Christ within, and I go free. God is infinite wisdom, and that wisdom is mine. That wisdom leads and guides me, so I shall not make mistakes. Christ in me is a lamp unto my feet. God is infinite life, and that life is my supply, so I shall want for nothing. God created me, and he sustains me. Divine love has foreseen everything and provided for everything. One mind, one power, one principle, one God, one law, one element. Closer is he than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. I am divine spirit, the child of God, and in the presence of God I dwell forever. I thank God for perfect harmony. End of essay. My dear one, if you haven't done so, hit that like button as we continue on to the next section right here in this video. The word of power. Pray regularly for the ability to pray in the right way. I am divine spirit. In God I live and move and have my being. I am part of the self-expression of God and therefore express perfect harmony. I individualize omniscience. I have direct knowledge of truth. I have perfect intuition. I have spiritual perception. I know. God is my wisdom, so I cannot err. God is my intelligence, so I am always thinking rightly. There's no waste of time, for God is the only doer. God works through me, so I am always working rightly, and there is no danger of my praying wrongly. I think the right thing in the right way at the right time. My work is always well done, for my work is God's work. The Holy Spirit is continually inspiring me. My thoughts are fresh and new and clear and powerful with the might of omnipotence. My prayers are the handiwork of the Holy Ghost, powerful as the eagle and gentle as the dove. They go forth in the name of God himself, and they cannot return unto me void. They shall accomplish that which I please, and prosper in the thing whereto I send them. I thank God for this. The Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, shall teach you all things. From the book of John, chapter 14, verse 26. And whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do. From the book of John, chapter 14, verse 13. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. From the book of John, chapter 15, verse 7. Ask, and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full. From the book of John, chapter 16, verse 24. End of section. Stay here. I will flip over to the next essay titled Blessing and Cursing. Life is a reflex of mental states. As far as you are concerned, the character that things will bear will be the character that you first impress upon them. Bless a thing, and it will bless you. Curse it, and it will curse you. If you put your condemnation upon anything in life, it will hit back at you and hurt you. If you bless any situation, it has no power to hurt you, and even if it is troublesome for a time, it will gradually fade out if you sincerely bless it. We are told, you remember, that whatever name Adam gave to an animal, that was its name. And of course, you know that the same of a thing means its character. Adam said to one animal, "You are a tiger, ferocious," and so it was. To another, he said, "You are a gazelle, gentle and kind," and so it was. Now Adam is every man. And until we learn to give good names to Christian everything, we shall have enemies of various kinds to deal with. Bless your body. If there is anything wrong with a particular organ, bless that organ. Of course, you must bless the organ and not the disease. Bless your home. Bless your business. Bless your associates. Turn any seeming enemies into friends by blessing them. Bless the climate. Bless the town and the state and the country. Bless a thing, and it will bless you. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. From the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory. From Book 1 of Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 7. Be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. You shall not need to fight this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of the Lord with you, O Judah and Jerusalem. Fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for the Lord will be with you. From the book 2 Chronicles, chapter 20, verse 15 and 17. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. From the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 7. End of section. I'll flip the page to the next section now, titled The Golden Gate. God is love, and that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. Love is by far the most important thing of all. It is the golden gate of paradise. Pray for the understanding of love and meditate upon it daily. It casts out fear. It is the fulfilling of the law. It covers a multitude of sins. Love is absolutely invincible. There is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer, no disease that enough love will not heal, no door that enough love will not open, no gulf that enough love will not bridge, no wall that enough love will not throw down, no sin that enough love will not redeem. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be the trouble, how hopeless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. If only you could love enough, you would be the happiest and most powerful being in the world. The two keys of hell are condemnation and resentment. These can be destroyed permanently by such a treatment as the above. Jesus said, "A new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another as I have loved you. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. The book of John, chapter 13, verse 34 and 35. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. From the first book of John, chapter 4, verse 16. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. From the first book of John, chapter 4, verse 18. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God, and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. From the first book of John, chapter 4, verse 17. For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. From the first book of John, chapter 3, verse 11. We love him because he first loved us. From the first book of John, chapter 4, verse 19. End of section. The next section is titled, Treatment for Divine Love. My soul is filled with divine love. I am surrounded by divine love. I radiate love and peace to the whole world. I have conscious divine love. God is love, and there is nothing in existence but God and his self-expression. All men are expressions of divine love. Therefore, I can meet with nothing but the expressions of divine love. Nothing ever takes place but the self-expressing of divine love. All this is true now. This is the actual case, the actual state of affairs. I do not have to try to bring this about, but I observe it already in being now. Divine love is the actual nature of being. There is only divine love, and I know this. I perfectly understand what divine love is. I have conscious realization of divine love. The love of God burns in me for all humanity. I am a lamp of God, radiating divine love to all whom I meet, to all whom I think of. I forgive everything that can possibly need forgiveness, positively everything. Divine love fills my heart, and all is well. I now radiate love to the whole universe, including no one. I experience divine love. I demonstrate divine love. I thank God for this. End of section. The next section is titled, God in Business. A large proportion of what are called business problems really consist in negotiating with other people. All salesmanship, of course, is negotiation between the seller and the purchaser. And successful salesmanship means bringing that negotiation to a termination satisfactory to both parties. Whether you are seeking a position for yourself or engaging someone else to work for you, the ultimate outcome will depend upon negotiation. You want to find the right person to fill your vacancy, or you wish to be engaged for a certain position that you think would suit your requirements very well, and in either case, the outcome is a matter of negotiation. Disputes and misunderstandings often arise between two business firms or between a firm and a customer, and here again, harmonious relations in the future, which means more business, will depend upon how the present negotiations are conducted. In fact, Every relation in life will be found to depend upon the ability to make harmonious personal adjustments, which is negotiation. In such matters as family and personal disputes, as well as in those things more usually considered under the head of business, the same principle will be found to apply with even greater force if possible. Now, the secret of successful negotiation can be put into a nutshell. It is this: see God on both sides of the table. Claim that God is working through both of you, through yourself and through the person with whom you are dealing. Do not seek by willpower to get your own way, but affirm that God's will in that particular matter is being done. Remember that your own way may not be at all good for you. The very thing that you want today may turn out next week to be a nuisance or even a misfortune. Do not try to overreach the other man, to persuade him against his will, or to take the slightest advantage of him in any way. But state your case honestly to the best of your ability. Do only what you think is right, and know that God is living and working in your life. Then if you do not make that sale, you will make a better one instead. If you do not get that job, you will get a better one. If you do not make the arrangement that you sought today, a better one will present itself tomorrow. Never allow yourself to be strained or tense or overeager. God never hurries. He works without effort. In dealing with fellow man, put God on both sides of the table, and the outcome will be true success for both parties. End of section. We'll turn the page now to the next essay titled 15 Points. I am really on the path if I always look for the best in each person, situation, and thing. If I resolutely turn my back on the past, good or bad, and I live only in the present and future. If I forgive everybody without exception, no matter what he may have done, and if I then forgive myself wholeheartedly. If I regard my job as sacred and do my day's work to the very best of my ability, whether I like it or not. If I take every means to demonstrate a healthy body and harmonious surroundings for myself. If I endeavor to make my life of as much service to others as possible without interfering or fussing. If I take every opportunity wisely to spread the knowledge of truth to others. If I rigidly refrain from personal criticism and neither speak nor listen to gossip. If I devote at least a quarter of an hour a day to prayer and meditation. If I read at least 7 verses of the Bible every day. If I specifically claim spiritual understanding for myself every day. If I train myself to give the first thought on waking to God. If I speak the word for the whole world every day, say at noon. If I practice the golden rule of Jesus instead of merely admiring it. He said, "Whosoever ye would that man should do to you, do ye even so to them." The important point about the golden rule is that I am to practice it whether the other fellow does so or not. If above all, I understand that whatever I see is but a picture which can be changed for the better by scientific prayer. End of 15 points. If you want to demonstrate, ask yourself once a week how far you are observing these points in your life. End of section, and also end of reading of the book titled Power Through Constructive Thinking by Emmet Fox. Please do leave me your comments. I love to know that you came by. I love to read your comments. And also, if you know of anyone that could benefit from these videos, please do share it with your friends and loved ones. Also, if you'd like to be notified of upcoming videos, please do subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and may you be blessed, and we'll catch each other at the next video here on my channel, wherever that may be.